Hi there, and welcome back to Queen Beauty Podcast. It's your girl Quandris.
And Elise, Emos, Queen of Connection in the vibes.
We're here today with a very special guest who we are excited to have on. As you know, for the last couple weeks, we've been doing some special guests, and we are excited to keep that going and continuing by bringing on someone very near and dear to both of our hearts.
Yes, the family series is doing the thing. So this episode is really special. We got the honor and privilege to interviewing Quadris's amazing firstborn child. Her daughter is Shannia McBryde. She is an artist, a brand curator. You guys are going to hear all about her studio later in the episode, but our focus, obviously, is the self-care kickback. So we can't do things without bringing her computer animation skills to life because she is so into like the whole digital animation, movies, all the things. So with Sinners, wrapping up, doing big things at the Oscars.
Big things, big things.
We decided this conversation is really going to highlight some of the themes of spirituality and religion that was played throughout the actual movie of Sinners. So it's kind of like a recap, but a self-care, trying to find your safe spaces in those times when you're dealing with your own journey in spirituality. So you guys check it out.
Check it out. We hope you enjoy. Please leave comments and share your thoughts. Enjoy. Remember, you can hear this episode and more by visiting our website, www.queenbeautypodcast.com. This episode is happening somewhere in between Bermuda. Yes. And of course, the Oscars, where a lot went down. Mainly the rack up and the well-deserved awards for Sinners.
Man, kudos to Sinners. Ryan Coogler is amazing. I just love his spirit. Do you know he's only 39 years old?
I know, and you know he used to play football, and somebody was like equating his athleticism and that spirit of keep going, you got to do it, all the hard work with why he is where he is today, like, and a part of the journey, not like why he is where he is, but like a part of that, like that athletic mentality of keep going and working hard and never stopping.
He's. I didn't know that was a sport, but it's not surprising. But I mean, to be so accomplished at 39, we the same age. That's a big accomplishment. I'm like,
huge.
You're not even 40.
So like, he was even younger than when Black Panther, right?
I know, a baby. But well respected, and you could just tell, like everybody who talks about him just loves him. That just his character. I love. And then of course, like Michael B. Jordan. Like,
come on now.
His own in the building. Like
I love Michael B. Jordan too. Like he's been there with him. Like his they're in the article I read. It was like his QB1 from Fruitvale, right? Is that was the first one?
Yeah,
that was.
Ryan Coogler did like a very heartfelt speech to introduce him, and I was like, I definitely watch TV like I think a millennial or like people do today, because I don't really watch the Oscars. I just catch the high notes on YouTube or on Instagram. And so I did catch Ryan Coogler's intro in that discussion of just their friendship over the years of doing movies together, and how he's just watched Michael B. Jordan grow in so many different spaces, how he like really dive into character to become a boxer and like would work hard to do that, and then to become a twin. Like the detail that they did, like they gave him a shoe that was too small when he was a twin in Sinners so that he can play like the other twin, and like they had like
remember that, like that was like his cue to remember.
And then like the way he sucked his teeth on either side depending on what twin he was, and they had this like speech person or this expert come in and help them understand how twins function and to deal with their chakra traumas. It was like all types of interesting things that they created to make him be prepped. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I think it was amazing too.
Jumping or not?
Which is Shannia, you're a little bit fuzzy right now. I don't know what's going on.
So are you, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. But it usually, you're always fuzzy and then it always comes out good. So I don't know if it's real or not.
Okay.
This was 3 minutes and 30 seconds if you want to write that down.
Yeah, Shania's going to go out and come back in here.
Okay. Be right back. Come back.
Am I grainy?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
3 minutes, 30 seconds. Recording review.
There you go. That's better. That's really good.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so what do you think about it, Shania?
I really love the movie. It was one of my favorites of the movie season this year. I didn't really hear about the other movies, not gonna lie. After I saw Sinners, that was kind of it for me. I didn't go see it on purpose. I didn't know about it until like after I was sitting in the theater for it. I was like, well, what's Sinners? I kind of just went out with friends and they sat down. I was like, well, what is it? And they're like, horror. I'm like, okay, I don't really do horror. So it was like, okay. But, you sat down and then the scene comes on, of course, the generational moment scene, the I lied to you sequence came on and it was just like, whoa. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it did get right into it, right?
Almost immediately it's like, okay, we're starting off in the fields. What's going on here? I thought this was a horror movie. What time is it set in? I knew nothing about it.
Yeah, I now that you say that, I remember when I went to go to see them.
It's real bad. It's real fuzzy. Something ain't right. Darn it. Is your Wi-Fi on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me turn it on. Yep, it's on.
See, she's at 93%. I like how you can see the percentage everyone is on.
Oh, I can't see the percentage on my end. That's interesting.
You're at 99 and Shania's at 94. I can't see my. Oh, I can't see mine.
What does that do?
I don't know. Nothing. I think it's your device percentage.
Okay. Well, you're good then. I mean, hopefully it'll come out fine. It just seems grainy on my side.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll just kind of go into it. Shania, I didn't have any awareness of it before because I don't really watch a lot of TV, so I didn't see any previews. But my friends were talking about it like the week before it came out, and I was like, oh, well, let me go see this thing.
That was me. I was like, Michael B. Jordan, and he a twin, so we get two Michael B. Jordans.
Yeah,
I'm going. That was obvious. I don't like trailers because a lot of times I purposely didn't watch the trailer for most movies I go see because I feel like it ruins all the best parts. So I don't like seeing the trailers. I get the gist of it, and then I go in with like a clear mind and my own opinions. I love movies for like cinematography and the plot building and the character story background, and so I don't like to watch the trailers a lot so that I can see everything fresh. Yeah. That's that Blacks in Cinema class we took, Elise. But but yeah, I was very surprised to say the least because I was confused why so many people had so many different like crazy things to say about it.
Yeah. So, and then of course I knew right in the middle of the movie that this was about to be a conversation starter. Yeah. I was like, okay, sis. Okay. But I wanted to share too, like Bermuda. Just give me a second.
Okay,
Bermuda was so pretty. Like the beautiful Bermuda. People don't underestimate how dope that country is. Like it is the perfect little island. The people, the culture, they just want you to have a good time, but not too much. They're not in your business. They just want you to have a good time. It's not commercial. Yeah. They're just like we were walking and this young guy came over to me and my mom. We were walking on the pier, just looking at all the beautiful water. And we were about to get on a boat because we had cousins there and they picked us up on a boat and took us out there.
I love that.
And so he came up and he was like, "Hey, are you guys tourists?" And I was like, "Yeah," because I'm from Jersey. Yeah. And then he was like, "Oh, I just felt like I needed to ask. Have a wonderful time in our country," and just walked away.
So you thought he was about to tell you something, didn't you?
I swear to God. But he just walked away, and I was like, that was so sweet. Like, he was just like, enjoy our beautiful country. Like, enjoy our country. We're happy you're here. And then off into the abyss. That was the vibe of the whole time. I mean, I came in second American in the 5K that I ran.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. I didn't know it
And it built up my my rum mojo. I think it was just so pretty. I had, in the days, felt so calm. I definitely came back recharged. Even though it was a workation, I came back feeling super recharged, super light. And I was like, you know what? Bermuda is a vibe. It's because the culture is calm. The culture is calm.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Aww,
I'm happy you had a good time. That's exciting.
Yeah, so it was a vibe. But we have a guest, you all. And without further ado, we gotta get right on into it. So this one is very personal to me, and probably just maybe like 5% more personal for Quandris.
5%.
It's the whole birth. The whole birth. 5%.
It's my God, baby. I have known this young lady for 21 out of 22 years of her whole life. So this is not just a moment. This is legacy in reality, okay? Shannia McBryde, ladies and gentlemen, is a 3D animator, since we talk about movies and cinema.
Okay.
Multi-media artist, a creative storyteller. She knows how to take ideas and put that computer animation spin on it, dare I say it. That's her whole BA degree. She is out here. All right, if you know, you know. She has got all the things that I don't know how to say. Those softwares that you want to pay good people real good money to get. Shania know how to do it. From audios to visuals, she is building worlds. She's not building projects, okay? She's like in Sims doing big things popping and little things stopping, okay? Super creative. I'm so excited for her power. She's literally going to take her power today on Queen Beauty Podcast, and we're going to flip the script. And she's going to host us with an experience on what self-care really means for us. So y'all got to get into this conversation, because this is what it looks like when you take your passion, your skills, and your idea all at the same time. Welcome to the conversation, Shania.
Welcome.
Hi, hello.
Oh, Mama Sunshine. So happy you're here.
Oh, by the way, Nick Harrison's daughter.
By the way, my first creation, numero uno. I'm happy. I am so happy that you're here, and we're finally getting a chance to have you on the podcast. For y'all who have been around for a while, she actually used to do the editing behind the scenes for this podcast.
I did.
While she was still in school, doing big things, and so we are so happy to have you in the front seat today, guiding us along.
Thank you so much, you guys, for having me. I'm excited to have this conversation today. I'm excited for the topic. Yay. So I wanted to start off similarly to my cousin Indigo Soleil with a quote from Corn-Fed Movies on YouTube. You can also check out the video if you want. It's called Sinners Exposes Religion and Hypocrisy. Quick little watch. Exposed, not a single deception, but a life spent suppressing truth for survival. These aren't the words of a rebellious soul. They're the aching release of someone who's been taught that honesty is dangerous and obedience is salvation.
Say that one part of that one line again. It went off. Yeah.
Sorry. Sinners expose not a single deception, but a life sent. Oh, sorry. Sinners expose not a single deception, but a life spent suppressing truth for survival. Okay. Just to start, I got all of your guys' thoughts, but I do want to start with the church as, a starting foundation for everything. We were all raised in the church just to start. Um, the church for us was really a safe space, somewhere we all went Sunday, gathered together with the community, had dinner, saw everybody caught up for the week. But in Sinners, the church isn't necessarily a safe space for our main character, Sammy, who's supposed to be our audience or our audience fill-in for everybody. And in more of the movie, you see a lot of the other characters practicing more of our spiritual practices, from Africa, voodoo, hoodoo, things like that. Southern practices, spiritual practices, and things like that. Even if they don't necessarily believe it, you literally see Smoke when he comes back home from Chicago talking to Annie. Like, I don't really believe in what you're talking about, but he's got the mojo bag and didn't take it off the entire time. So I wanted to start with a generation that's now, as we're going to more to my generation, that's increasingly leaving more organized religion. What do you think that necessarily says about where we've come as a country or world with religion these days and
I
safe
want
space?
in safe space. So I think I would love to get some data on that statement that this generation, the next generation, is increasingly leaving organized religion, because I guess it depends on your algorithms. And I say that
Yeah,
because I'm seeing a lot of younger generations increasingly going back to
that
organized
as well. That is
religion
why.
too. So, what'd you say?
I said I have been noticing that as well. It's kind of like almost split off into three parts, if you will. Like, people are joining fervently, they're really into it, they go to every meeting, every Bible study, or they're not a part of it at all. They don't believe anything, quite frankly. They're honestly like, I'm kind of just doing me. I want to set my boundaries. This is it. Whatever I do is what I do. And then you have more of, well, I don't really necessarily want to leave the church, but I don't necessarily agree with all of the things that's going on. But then, I'm kind of learning about the universe as it is and frequencies and all of that thing. And I'm kind of like still talking to God, but I still want to, like, figure it out. So what do you think on that?
So, I don't have glasses to put on right now, but I did look up some stats.
This is cool.
Wait, I got it for you.
So, right. So, like, I looked a few things up in my spare time. Oh, she got the glasses. I love it. I love her glasses. I love the ones with the chain. She got the chain, and it's so cute. And so I think I came across this stat a little while ago, maybe like a couple years ago, probably around like the pandemic, actually,
Okay.
where there was a break because people couldn't go into the building, so it kind of made people go onto their own platforms. Like a lot of the churches did online formats and things, but they did lose a lot of people that year. And then even outside of that, they said that with the younger generations that it is declining. It says 34% of Gen Z and 29% of millennials are religiously unaffiliated, compared to only 18% of baby boomers. And it's saying that the younger generation are leaving organized religion at record rates, with 1/3 identifying as religiously unaffiliated. How often this trend is often misaligned with skepticisms of institutions somewhat shows the traditional church attendance decreases, but spirituality remains. So it seems like what's happening, and this is what I read a couple years ago, was that more people are going on like BibleGateway.com to read the Bible for themselves. They're finding apps and podcasts
Yeah.
to gain understanding for themselves, and not necessarily wanting to go into the traditional institutions because they, for whatever reason, it doesn't really even tell me the reason here, but I think that's kind of maybe what things we'll probably touch on today. I'm not sure. But that is an interesting thing. And I do notice, like, even with me and myself and my friends, though it's like a half and half situation with who actually is going into a physical location and meeting with physical people, everybody has an app. Everybody is sending like a new podcast that they've listened to or a YouTube that they've
Or
seen.
following pastors.
It's a lot more
Yeah.
discussion. It's a lot of like spiritual discussion on all different types of religions, to be perfectly honest. It seems like there is a need and a hunger to understand things.
Mm-hmm.
And people are trying to do that, it seems like, outside of the going into a place a little bit more than what they have been in the past. Like we only had it to go to in one place, much like a lot of the world today with social media and access to learning things on your own. This seems to be like one of them, you know.
100%, 100%. And in saying that, you notice a lot of more of the older generation, like you said, are still in the church or are very strong in their point of view and how they feel about it and their belief systems and things like that. So because of that, they tend to, not necessarily hear that younger generation as much. And because of that, we don't really feel as much of a safe space as one would say. So we see that throughout the movie with Sammy. He doesn't really visit the church a lot. He goes to his cousins, obviously finds different ways, and is exposed to this new spiritual world. And then in doing that, he discovers this ability that he has. Well, not necessarily discovers. I think we all know from the beginning he's pretty talented. That Miles Canton, sir. By the way, congrats on that win. Absolutely deserved. Think he should have won more, by the way. But Gen Z is starting to unlearn, I want to say, a lot of what the older generation has passed down, or trying to figure out what it is that they should unlearn and things like that, and take with them into their new lives, unlearning that habit of your parents' routine and things like that, getting out into the world and trying to do that spiritually is definitely something that's a little more daunting and might come with a little more shame, coming from the Black community, especially as a lot of us can be very devoutly Christian, especially those Southern Baptists and things like that.
Wait, slow it down. I'm trying to understand where you're going.
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to find the point myself. Hold on. I lost my train of thought.
Because I'd like to unpack some of it, but but then you went to another sentence.
Oh, sorry. Well, I kind of forgot where I was at. So if you guys wanna, feel free to jump in.
So say what you said before you ended, because you said a couple of different points that I wanted to pull out. I think it was the part about, let's go back to just the idea of Gen Z seeing religion. I think historically, the 18 to 25 community leaves the church no matter what point in time you're in. And history has a tendency to repeat itself. I think we have access to data, so it feels like it's different than what it was. But I do believe when I was coming up, and even when my brother and sister were coming up, and even when my parents were coming up, there's like that gap year. It's a historical gap when you become an adult, especially if you're raised in a church, and you're trying to find yourself or trying to find what's right. Like I think you're saying unlearning behaviors, but it's really just trying to figure out how I want to live my life and what do I want to take and what do I want to not take. And then sometimes, I guess, because I'm now about to be in my era, my 40s, kind of coming back. It's like an evolution of like, okay, let me do me. And then you go through some life experiences, and then you realize that the core truth, maybe how you got to that truth, might be a little bit different than how your parents were. So you feel like independent. At least for me, I felt more independent in my decisions of when I wanted to engage with the church and how. I engage with it is different than the way that my parents engage with the church, but I still engage with the church. It just doesn't look the same. But I still find solace in community and in church. I do find, but I do understand that when I got my first sense of independence, that I wanted to do it on my terms. And I didn't want to do it the way that they were doing it. And I feel like that's kind of where you're coming from too. Like, you know what? And we're saying Gen Z because that's that age group right now.
Yeah.
But that's the group that's trying to figure it out. Like, You know what? I don't like the way they did that. I was turned off. And so back to your original point about Sinners, Sammy had a very, very strict church upbringing. Not everybody experiences that level of strictness in the church, because especially churches nowadays, they got cool, they got cool passes out there. Like they're not now. They're focusing on the source, which is the truth, which is the word. But the way in which they do it is very practical, and it's capturing the hearts of people to feel like, oh, this is relatable. They're not saying you can't go out. You can't, you can't play your guitar. That's the devil. Like, no, it doesn't feel like that.
It doesn't feel like that. And you know what? Y'all both bring up that valid point of that age range. And I think we have these discussions a lot. Like, how can we bring that age range in here? Because it's a powerful age range, right? It's a powerful age range. This age range changed the shift of a country that they're in, whatever country that they're in. It will change the shift of the next generation. So it seems like there's a pulling on that generation, on this particular generation, this time age that you're in. Somewhere between 18 and like 27, it's a pull grab on that age group because of how powerful you are. You still got all your energy. You only need a few hours of sleep. You got all these creative new ideas, fresh insight. Y'all just keep going. Y'all can still go out. Y'all start y'all nights late and still wake up early. It's a powerful age group and still can think. So it's a powerful age group, but it's also an age group that we know doesn't have the same experience as that age group that's in the 40 plus that know, like, I've seen these things escalate. Let me raise my antennas because you're so go. So people are trying to grab on and steer that generation in the way in which they want towards their own goals. You know what I'm saying? To a certain extent. And I think Sammy might be in that age range too in the movie, which is it speaks towards that age range always having like a pull on them for everybody for their own intents and purposes. And I used that phrase twice.
I think you're fine. I think to your point though, there's something to be said. We got to check the older generations always. I love being a millennial because I feel like I could see both sides, right? But people need to be checked. And even people who are my age who just be like, these kids, they don't even know. I'm like, first of all, we all have our own mind and we are all evolving in our own way. And I think we sometimes get too ingrained on this idea of like right versus wrong, or whatever it is that we deems is supposed to be right versus what is wrong. And then that comes into how we relate to each other. Because if you've already made it if I'm an older generation and I've already said, well, if you're doing this and you're doing it wrong, then we don't have nothing to talk about. If I'm the younger generation and I think that it's right. So it's really about the perspectives of how the church played a role in your life. What parts of it did you like versus what you didn't like? And then figuring out, people are imperfect. And I think that's where I find myself, that's the space I find myself in. But when I look at Sinners, people are always going to be imperfect. And people are always, they could be in your family, as in Sammy's case, it was his family, and in church. So it was family church scenarios that they call today church hurt, really. And you have to heal. And sometimes it's family hurt and sometimes it's church hurt. And in Sammy's case, it was a mix of both. But he's going to have to figure out his own healing. Now, we only got a clip of Sammy's life in a night. Oh, night to remember. And Sinners.
Night to remember,
And then a random look into the future towards the end. But like at the end of the day, he's going to have to figure out his own healing of what those things did to him and then how he's going to find his own safe space environment. I think for the music was clearly a safe space for him. As he goes into live his life, that could always be something that's a creative outlet to help him feel connected, and he might vibe with people in the music community because that's something that gives him some peace.
Yeah, and I definitely want to touch on that because you see kind of this duality of safe spaces that Sammy has to deal with. They're honestly, neither of the spaces that he's in are safe for Sammy throughout the film from what we see. The church isn't safe because he goes home and he's ridiculed for, just existing, being himself, how he wants to be truly and authentically. Meanwhile, in the barn or farm, I believe, club, let's call it a club, he can't, he's not really, he's called church boy, he's called preacher boy, pastor boy. He's put on the stage with the pretense of performing. And, I'm sure they didn't expect, the jazz view, the amazing number that we got, but, he's still kind of in that tug and push and pull throughout the movie that we see, until he finally does accept kind of a mix at the end that we see. Mm-hmm. You see that rhythm and blues, the jazz that he brings, the soul that he brings into his club when he finally has it, from the church. But you do still see that, the musical talent, the freedom, the wildness, the passion of the night at the club and things like that.
Mm-hmm. So I like that. I liked it what you brought up, and I like, both of you talking about his safe space and how both of them really weren't safe. And I think that a lot of times, and when we're talking about safe spaces or these just different experiences in general, where we're constantly learning things, whether we like it or not, as we're being exposed to new ideas and concepts. Mm-hmm. So one phrase that my brother-in-law always says, which is cool, is not his phrase, but it's an age-old phrase of chew the meat and spit out the bone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that it's powerful because when you have like a strict religious background that's steeped in traditions that man created, and mixed with the spirituality and the things that actually exist in the holy text of those religions, sometimes you do have to chew the meat and spit out the bone and understand, like in some of them, you have to have your own inner relationship with God. Like his father's relationship with God didn't save him from about to be chewed up. Okay. Mm-hmm. He's about to be all the way crazy. His father's relationship didn't save him from that. It wasn't about to save him from that. He had to understand, and I think maybe in that moment he understood that it was his own personal relationship, him finding his voice for himself, him understanding how things work for himself. Absolutely. That was able to save him in the end. And I think the same for that nightlife or whatever. You might come across some situations that actually you do learn from, like, oh my goodness, not doing that again, or whatever the case. I'm like, yo, that's wild.
Dodge that bullet.
And you have to dodge that bullet. You're going to hear a lot of people saying that. You're going to hear a lot of people over the threshold of 40 saying that a lot, like, whoo, I don't know who was praying for me that night, but thank you. You know what I'm saying?
I say all the time, the Lord looks out for babies and fools, and I'm
and fools. That's my mom's phrase. It's my mom's favorite phrase. But it was kind of like shady. It would be after we do something silly and we knew we weren't babies anymore. So it was like, but I think that like at the end of the day, each year, I'm starting to understand one of these like phrases and how true they are. Like chew the meat and spit out the bone, and the baby looks out for the Lord looks out for babies and fools. And so all of those things come to be true, but you don't really see it until you live life a little bit. And you have those experiences, which are important to have, because if you don't, and then something comes out of nowhere and like you think that because it's different, it's true. You know what I mean? That could rock your foundation. And I think a lot of times with that age group, it's important to get out there and experience things and see how you do based off of what you know, and you gain your new insight. And I don't think you should be ridiculed for that. No. Like at least to Elisa's point, we've all been there, and you do have to check adults. Like this whole phrase that 6, 7, you know what I mean? Everybody's so annoyed with it. And I think we brought it up before, how we used to have things like that when we were young too. And it annoyed everybody. It annoyed all the adults. Sometimes you do it because it annoys the adults, and there's nothing more to it.
Right.
But adults can see things differently, you know what I mean, based off of what they know. And they may know that some things that we do is a slippery slope to letting in some stuff into your life that you don't want into your life. And it's hard to, like, get that message across to such a rebellious age.
Sometimes it might be, I like my approach, if I dare to say. But I just let them live. Let the people live. Figure it out on their own. Because, I mean, you can show people better than you could tell them. Yeah. But for the most part, if you're going to try to talk somebody into something, you're wasting a lot of energy and breath. But just let people live and come.
Let them live. And let them see how you living. Let them see how you're actually living.
That's why I can say I can show you better than I can tell you. We could do this. Yeah. We can do this the showcase way. Totally. I take my energy. You get to feel safe and doing what you want to do. To me, it's a win-win.
It's a win-win. It's a win-win. And I think being there for people, regardless of their age, is very important because, like, how else, if we're telling people they need to make sure that they stay true to home and like you have somewhere to go if anything ever happens, but then the moment they come to you, it's like, yeah, see, I told you that, like, and you going in, but then don't be surprised if they don't come to you anymore. Right. And I'm not going to anyone who always like comes at me like that. I wouldn't go to them.
Exactly. And speaking of that, I want to touch on that a little bit and knowing where to put your energy at. And I kind of want to touch on the vampires of the film and how that worked and that motif and things like that. So they kind of represented this energy vampire thing going on from the moment we see them. They kind of just immediately redo what they do with their music and stuff like that. And it was bland. Sorry. Bland. But they tried their very best. They did their little ditty, but
music. They was
yes, and I love that throughout the film you see them get different people in different ways and how they protect themselves or don't protect themselves. Like Annie, from the moment she picks up on it, no, I'm not doing it. You're trying to take something from me. I'm not feeling it. Something's off here. No, I'm gonna shut the door. Other guys, Stack, a little too available, a little too out there, just ready to take whatever energy is kind of given to him. And then we see what happens as a result of that. They took his energy completely and he can't do anything more with that. He can't really create anything more because he can't see the sun. Well, there you go. But I kind of wanted to ask, what do you guys, how do you spot that energy vampire? How do you guys stop that? How do you guys think that we're getting to that?
Go on, Elise.
It hit me. I love this topic about just how you spot the energy, especially since we frame this as the first part of the discussion being on how religion has evolved, or just how younger people see religion versus older people. And the other thing I forgot to say before I address your question is older people have to always pray for our younger people. Always. That prayer is so important, because what Taquandra's point about that personal relationship, that's on the younger generation. But our older generation, us older folks, need to be guiding through showing and also praying for you to see for the younger generation to be guided through Christ a little bit more. But that energy piece and having the discernment, it's discernment, having the feeling of this is not right, and then going with that. That is really wisdom. It's not vampire energy. It's really just the person who was like, shut the door. Who was it? Just shut the door. Like, that's you taking action because it doesn't feel right in your spirit. And you're being called to take an action to protect yourself. And you doing that. You following those things. That is literally discernment, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think so. Discernment is right. And sometimes I like to call it also those little butterflies. Those little butterflies. Sometimes, and I don't know, like, I want y'all to pay attention to this, like, this next week. This is the homework. Yeah. Pay attention to this. Like, when something weird happens, something weird is going on, you'll get like this little butterfly feeling in your stomach. Like, it's like this weird little sensation where if your guard is down, like you said, Stack was a little bit too open. He had no guard, right? He a little too open, so he didn't feel no butterflies. He didn't feel no butterflies because he's a little bit too open. It was too loosey-goosey. He had other spirits in him, drinking and things like that. So it was just like, your guard is let down. If you have too many of these outside voices coming in, your guard will be left down and you won't have those spirits. That's one. But like that butterfly feeling, if you pause, just a pause. Yeah. Just a quick little pause in your butterflies. Just to be like, wait a minute, let me think.
I'm gonna feel like I need to figure out these butterflies you talk about, because I think I know what you're talking about, when there's something that feels off and you can't put your finger on it.
Can't put your finger on it.
I'm remembering. Remember when we went to like Atlantic City for my birthday?
Yeah. How could I forget?
We were 23, I was turning 23 that year. And I remember we were out shopping and my grandma called me and she said, the devil is loose. And I laughed. But sure enough, our car got towed.
Wait, but did you keep going with your story? Because I remember what you had said before we parked. But go on.
I don't remember what I said, so you helped me. But yes, so all I remember her saying is earlier that weekend before we started, she knew I was going to be out with my friends. She knew that I was going to be having a good time. And you talk about the older generation with wisdom in a box. She said, okay, well, have fun, but the devil is loose. And I was like, I was so confused. Like, I was taken aback. Like, the devil is loose.
I love your grandma. Rest in peace. I love her.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. But what were you going to say, Quadri?
Before we parked there, it was something that was kind of shady about the parking space and the signs in general. And you was like, I don't know about this, guys. That's all you said. And then we just kept going. We just kept going anyway. Like, nah, we good. What are you talking about? It's just really fun. You know, like, and then sure enough, we got told in Atlantic City. We had to figure out. Did they have Ubers then? Did we have to call a taxi?
Have Ubers then,
no. We had to call a taxi. I don't know. I don't remember the jitney. I don't remember what we did. I don't remember, but we were okay.
Find our way. I think we had to call.
We found our way.
We had to call a cab to find my car. It was traumatic. It was very.
The devil was loose. But we weren't paying attention to the butterflies. You had the butterflies, probably because it was in the back of your mind what your grandma said to you. You know what I'm saying? But you had the little butterflies, but you push and that happens with all of us at some point. Right. Like you'll have someone else like, nah, come on, we're fine. Like, I was like, and if she would have listened, we would have just went to like the parking lot that was like $3 more.
That was the thing. We was being cheap. Okay.
We was being all weekend
for parking.
The whole weekend. It was like 8 of us in one like hotel room. We were being cheap. And it was a low costing. We could have did that at the Caesars, but we did it at this real jinky spot.
That was the last time I felt like we was living in squalor on a vacation.
That was it for us. Never again.
Squalor on vacation. You paid
when he gave us our own plunger. I was done. I was so over it. But yeah, so listen to the butterflies is all I can, because it's hard to say. You like, how do you know the moment? And it's hard to say the moment. It's hard to say. Like, you know what you've been taught. We know what you've experienced. Take all of that and just listen to the butterflies. And when those butterflies happen, just take a step back, quick. You only give it a minute. Just give it a minute of sitting in those butterflies so that you can be like, let me think, and then move. That's all I have.
Let me think and let me talk to God real quick, and then move.
Oh yeah, that part. That's a good one. I like that. Add that in there.
Hold please. What you got for me, sir?
Hold please. And if somebody around you got an issue with you saying hold please, then that's another red flag. It's like we call it red flags. Yeah. Because why they want you to rush? What is the rush?
Nothing could ever be a rush. Do it now, or you'll never get it again. Scenario. Like I am always concerned on those situations. And back to Sinners. That's literally what was going on. Like they was trying to get in that house with such authority. Like it was too much, overwhelmingly too much, too good to be true. You two around, you're too available. I don't like it. Yeah.
And then to the point of the movies of Sinners, it was the idea that they were giving them the moment to think, and they were like, "Can you let me in?"
Yeah.
And then they didn't just barge in, and it usually is the case. I mean, you have some situations where it is a barge and it's out of your control, but in this particular instance, they strategically did it that way because you will be given in most situations the opportunity to think. It's up to you to just let the thing in without thinking or not. So that part of the story was like crazy to me. That was
think about the testing in the wilderness. Sometimes God can test you in these moments, or you have an opportunity where you will be tested in life, and how your decision making. Do you trust them or not? And then your decision making, if I'm trusting myself to just be like, yeah, he all right, let me let him on in. It's just, and then it turns out to backfire. That's literally what happened to Sinners, because those people was up to no good.
Yeah. And even if you mess up and you let them in, they were still given opportunities to fight for themselves, to fight for what they believe in. And they had another thing present itself where, are you going to let me in? When he gripped them up and started going back and forth with the verse, like it was like, it was another opportunity. And to Elisa's point of those tests constantly coming, yeah, we're going to be constantly tested in those things. Like the devil is loose. Take it back, like, to try to get us. He trying to get us, y'all. He trying to rack up on the numbers to get us.
Hello.
And he's going to take as many opportunities as he can. So it's just like, and we have to listen to them butterflies and be like, hold on a second.
Now, it actually makes me think about earlier conversations where you were talking about like the safe spaces. So we were talking about the safe spaces from a perspective of like, I don't want to talk to you because you've dismissed me. Now I need to go find my safe space. I'm finding joy through finding safe spaces where God is still available and he's still at the center. So like, for example, this morning, I went for a run. It was a Black Girls Run. And we are just, there was a first day of spring run. We're going to do a walk around, really pumpy. Do you know that we started off in prayer? We got in a circle. We had prayed in the group run lead prayed. And then we went for a run. And then we started dancing to Tamia. And then it was a celebration. And I was like, this is cool. Like, you can have safe space, community, spirituality, all in the same thing. And I love running. So my health was, physical health was tapped in on. And then I was on a call for this food challenge that I'm on, this 40-day food challenge on Thursday. We opened up in prayer. I'm on a Fit and Faithful group on Sundays. We open up in prayer. We go real talk, holy walk. We talk about all things.
First of all, hold on.
Shout out to Coco.
Hold on a second. Real
talk, holy walk.
Elisa's in Atlanta, y'all. Y'all didn't know she's in the A. In the A, there is somebody for everything. And it is an amazing place to be. And when she said real talk, holy walk, and she first introduced this to me, I said, I gotta listen to this call. It's about to be on and popping. I was so excited for her and all the things. And when she lets me in on the discussion, it's that idea of taking the holy book, the holy word, and putting it in a way that you can understand it. And I think that pastors are usually really great at doing that for their age group. But like how we just talked about, like there's a different age group coming in, different scenarios and different things that everyone is facing. So in her group, they're putting it with the things that are being faced today. And it gets real.
We look at our videos and we pick them apart from a spiritual perspective. Okay. Like it's real though, but to have the safe space to do life with people who are like-minded.
Exactly.
I'm still enjoying my life and I'm still getting the balance of spirituality, getting fed and learning and growing closer to my own personal relationship. So like, I do think you can figure out a way. You just have to be creative. And granted, I live in Atlanta. But there's so many outlets out there where you can be creative and still find those spaces for yourself.
Right. I enjoyed talking with you guys today. It was so much fun.
This was fun.
Such a fun conversation.
You brought a really heavy topic and you made it into like a good conversation. Like it was fun. It didn't feel like, to me, I don't know how the audience will feel, but to me it felt uplifting to have an honest conversation that needs to be had.
And I think it's important to be transparent about the reality of the situation. And in reality, there is a lot of disconnect in the world today when it comes to how people view religion. And everything ain't for everybody, and it never will be. And we all need to be cool with that. There's going to be something for everybody, and it's going to look different. And then as you age, it's going to look different, and it morphs. And we are created as individuals. We live in a follower society, but we are all individuals. We have our own individual thought. We should always be questioning. And you should never be afraid to take your questions and say them out loud or talk to God about them, no matter how harsh they sound, because that's the whole point of growing.
Yeah, and it
Yep.
says it right in there. Yeah, you should put it up against the word test it. It tells you to test things. You're
Yeah.
supposed to, because if not, you don't be stacked. Don't just let any old thing.
Yeah.
Test it a little bit. Test it a
And
little bit.
and just to add, I would like to say growth is mandatory. It is not optional. Okay? People love to do that
Yes,
regardless of what
yes.
it is. I don't care. Relationship, romantic, fiscal, financially, religiously, spirit, however you want. Growth is not an option. It is mandatory. You have to continue to grow, to learn, to
Mm-hmm.
take these things in order to elevate yourself, to get to that point where you can say, well, you know what? I did my best effort, put my best foot forward, and now I can say, without a doubt, I tried. I learned that lesson, and we're
Yeah,
gonna go again.
I love that. That's so, that's
Absolutely.
our reflection and our tip of the day, y'all.
Yeah.
Summarize it for us. Growth is mandatory. It is not optional. Take the lessons and get back up. Try it again. You're gonna be
Mm-hmm.
stronger.
Yep.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Well,
Aww.
it's been all ahead. It has been a pleasure connecting with you. For those that don't know, I've been calling Shania Head for a very, very long time. I just love to see you grow and glow. I see your
Hmm.
glow, and I'm so
Thank
excited
you.
that I have the honor to having you as my goddaughter. I love you so much.
Aww.
Thank you so much for being a part of Queen Beauty Podcast today.
Of course, no problem.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
where can
we are.
people
Uh-huh.
find you if they want to tap in? Can you just share a
Yes.
little bit about, your business, how people can tap in on your freelance work?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, of course. So you guys can find me on TikTok at princess underscore lay underscore artistry. Same with Instagram, princess underscore lay underscore one. I have a link tree open. Commissions are currently open if you guys are looking for any portraits, any logos, things like that. I do digital branding. I do animation, I do writing, I do set building, I do design, character design, all of the things. Currently, actually, good news to announce, I just locked down a script and we are now moving forward with production. So I'm getting ready to start on a new short film coming out, hopefully, New Year's. Yay! So stay
Hey,
tuned for that. Check out my YouTube channel. It should be out now, still under construction. SLM Studios, and hopefully, you guys, this won't be the last you guys hear of me and SLM Studios.
SLM
SLM
Studios.
Studios. You have heard it first here, ladies and gents. We have SLM Studios, owned, branded, curated by Shannia Leon McBryde. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for spending some time with Queen Beauty Podcast. You can reach us at all socials: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, you name it. We got Facebook. But no, you can find us at Queen Beauty Podcast. Email us at email us at queenbeautypodcast@gmail.com. What else we got, Quan? Anything else?
Please subscribe for instant access, especially on our YouTube. That way you can know when the latest and greatest has arrived. Also, please sharing is caring. So if you found, whether it was a short or a whole episode that sparked your interest and may find the interest of others, go on ahead and share it with them and leave a comment. We love comments.
All right, we're gonna hit you back on the flip side.
Yes, we'll see you back here soon for some quality time with Queen Beauty Podcast. Peace and love.
Ciao.